What would you do if the government outlawed your favorite type of tea? Today, we're having tea with Gu Yuanqing and looking at tea in the Ming Dynasty. Hi, I'm Jen from Tea Leaves and Tweed, and welcome to another historical tea video. Today, we're looking at the rise of a loose leaf tea steeping and tea in the Ming Dynasty. And in particular, we're looking at the Book of Tea, edited by Gu Yuanqing. Now, Mr. Gu was a tea lover. He says in his introduction that he is obsessed with tea, and he found the writings of his friend, Mr. Qian, who was a tea aficionado, and decided to edit and publish them during the Ming Dynasty. And in the Ming Dynasty, it's interesting because in the Song Dynasty, tea was usually powdered and it was whisked, and it was actually kind of a cultural phenomenon that they had these contests to see who could get the best froth. But in the Ming Dynasty, the Ming Emperor decided to outlaw tribute teas, and he outlawed cake teas, and he outlawed powdered teas and the whisking method, and moved China towards steeping loose leaf teas. And this was really where steeping tea in a way that we would recognize today kind of started. And at the same time, they also became much more interested in scenting and flavoring teas, and flower-scented teas such as jasmine teas became very popular. So in Gu Yuanqing's book, he talks about the processes for scenting teas with orange or with different fruits or with flowers, and he talks about making jasmine teas. And he also talks a little bit about the preparation of tea from loose leaves. Now, he does make some references to whisked tea. However, most of his preparation steps obviously refer to loose leaf tea. So this is one of the first writings that actually talks about the preparation of loose leaf tea in accordance with the laws at the time. So today, we're going to have a tea session inspired by Gu Yuanqing's book and tea in the Ming Dynasty. So let's brew. So here we have our brewing setup. Today I am brewing in gaiwan, so it is at this time that we see the first extant pieces that resemble the modern gaiwan. Now, it probably still wasn't used the way that we use it today to strain the tea, and people did use Yixing teapots at this point. However, the gaiwan was probably originally used as a drinking vessel, and supposedly the legend is that originally tea was drunk out of a bowl, but there was a noblewoman who was sick of burning her fingers, so she had a saucer made with a nice deep cup so that she could drink it by holding the saucer instead of the hot cup. And then eventually the lid was probably added to keep the tea warm. So we have our gaiwan, which will be both our brewing and our drinking vessel. So here we have a little bit of rolled green tea that is scented with jasmine, and this is just scented tea. It doesn't have any extra jasmine blossoms added for appearance, but it actually has a beautiful fragrance. So I'm holding it in this little tea strainer. You can see there are holes because Gu Yuanqing actually references what he calls a tea washer, that is a bowl that has holes in the bottom over another bowl, because he says that you're supposed to rinse your tea first to remove dust and coldness from it. So in addition to potentially washing dust off the tea, it also warms the tea up. And then I also have a little dish of hazelnuts, because in his book, Gu Yuanqing talks about snacks to eat with tea and how you don't want to have anything that's too strongly flavored. And one of the things he says is a perfect snack with tea are hazelnuts, because they have a mild flavor. So I have my hazelnuts and I have my tea. So let's brew. So first, we want to rinse our tea. And the water just strains away. And we want to warm up our bowl. And then we'll add our rinsed tea to our gaiwan, and we simply add water. And cover it up to keep it warm. So now we have our tea in our gaiwan, and this is basically drunk grandpa style. You can see the little leaves unrolling. And I've written a blog post about this, but I wanted to show you how you drink from a gaiwan. So you use the lid to hold the tea back. You hold it by the saucer. And you sip. So I can turn to the side so you can see a little better. This is a beautiful tea. It's very fragrant. It has a very sweet, almost orange flowery jasmine scent to it. I can see in the unrolling leaves there's a fair number of buds. And this would have been kept warm and sipped as you sipped your tea. You could have some snacks. I love hazelnuts. They're my favorite nut. And tea was supposed to be very good for you. And in fact, Gu Yuanqing in his book actually recommends washing out your mouth with tea and spitting it out, even if you can't swallow it for health reasons. Because I suppose even then they knew that certain people shouldn't have caffeine or shouldn't have tea. Maybe they even knew that people who got kidney stones shouldn't have it. But he thought that tea aided the digestion and aided kind of the workings of the mouth in helping digest food. So he even recommended people who couldn't drink tea would swish tea around in their mouth. And even now it's known that tea actually has a fair amount of natural fluoride, so it probably would have been very good for dental health. If not for the appearance of teeth, if the stains on my own teeth are any indication. This is a delightful jasmine tea. So one of the things he talks about is the process for scenting tea. And this tea is actually a jasmine tea scented in the traditional process where you kind of let the flowers and the tea sit together in a certain way to make sure that the flower scent kind of imbues the tea instead of just being added after the fact. So rather than kind of flavoring the tea with an extract, they actually let it sit with the beautiful flowers and the scent gets into the tea so that as you brew it for multiple infusions, each infusion has flower scent to it instead of it all kind of washing off during the first steeping. So this jasmine tea is from 7 Cups, and of course I'll link it below. So this was Ming Dynasty tea with Gu Yuanqing as part of our historical tea series. As always, please feel free to comment with any suggestions or requests on historical tea series to do in the future. I have plenty of ideas coming up. And I hope you enjoyed this historical tea session and that I'll see you again sometime. Bye.